Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Beacon Way podcast. I'm your host, Adrienne Wilkerson. And today we're going to be digging into branding and how branding affects growth, specifically how important authenticity and consistency is to boosting revenue for behavioral and health clinics when they focus on branding. So let's dive right in. In the world of behavioral health, unfortunately, it's not enough to simply stand out. The marketplace is more crowded than ever. You need to connect with your audience in a meaningful way. No matter what service you're offering, people will always choose to go with the organization they connect with. So, authenticity in digital marketing and marketing consistency are absolutely key, more important than they have ever been to building trust and loyalty with your potential patients. And this can have a significant impact on your behavioral health revenue. So, by focusing on branding for growth, mental health practices, you can create a strong, reliable brand presence that resonates with your audience. So, today in this podcast, we're going to explore how building brand consistency and authority through transparency, personal stories, and consistent interactions can help you build a trusted and recognizable source in your community. So, consistency in healthcare branding is essential for patient recognition and trust. Patients are more likely to choose a healthcare provider whose branding is cohesive across all touch points. This is feedback that multiple different survey companies have gotten. Patients are looking for consistency. So let's talk about authenticity. We've got a lot of isities in our conversation today. So, authenticity is truly the bedrock of effective branding in behavioral health. Clients are not just looking for a service, they are seeking trust and understanding. And this is especially true because most of the time, especially in the addiction recovery space, it's not the potential patient. It's a family member. They're the ones that are searching on behalf of them. So they're looking for trust. They're looking for somebody to understand their situation and the situation of the person they're trying to get help for. So, in an industry where personal connections and empathy are cornerstone, authenticity in digital marketing can be the deciding factor on which clinic somebody chooses to invest their money in. So, when a patient or a loved one of a patient or a friend of a patient perceives a brand as genuine and transparent, they're more likely to form a lasting connection. And this connection is crucial in the mental health services because a trust and credibility are even more important than other areas because it's important for clients to feel safe and supported. So, one way to do this is to be very open about your treatment methods and the qualifications of your team, the qualifications and experience of your therapists, and the outcomes people can expect. You can help people alleviate doubts and concerns. And this is very important because there's a lot of concerns, a lot of doubt, a lot of fear. So, this level of openness can help potential clients and family members feel more informed and confident about their decision to seek help. Also, it attracts people who value honesty and reliability. It also makes your practice distinct from other clinics, helping it stand out in a marketplace that's getting more and more crowded. Personal antidotes from therapists on social media can help to create a more relatable and engaging brand. Now, these antidotes need to be more personal to the therapist and not talking about clients. But when a therapist is comfortable sharing their own experiences, challenges, and insights, you can humanize the practice and build a connection with potential clients. These stories can be shared in a variety of formats, including blog posts, social media updates, or even short videos. By showcasing the real people behind the practice, you can foster a sense of community and belonging, which is particularly important in the behavioral health and mental health arenas. Clients are more likely to choose a practice where they feel understood and where the therapists seem approachable and genuine. One quick point to note is that brand authenticity is a statistically significant factor in the willingness to attend therapy. There's been a lot of studies linking authenticity with brand trust and psychological safety. If somebody's on the fence about whether or not to go see a therapist, being able to see authenticity in a brand can really help them move past any concerns or fear. So, this means that it's important to maintain a consistent, authentic presence across different platforms. And again, that leads to higher client trust. So it's not just about your website. It's not just about social media, but it's also about email. It's about any ads that you put out there. It's about articles that you write, how you and your therapist, your staff, your employees show up online is all part of a unified voice and message that can either reinforce the genuine nature of your practice or chase people away if it's not consistent. But let's assume that you are because you're reading this article. This consistency will ensure that clients receive the same experience no matter where they engage with your brand. It also helps you to create a strong, cohesive identity, which is so foundational to reaching the people who need your services. By being present and responsive across multiple platforms, I'm talking web, email, social media, all of those, you can build a brand that's not just robust, but is reliable, which is going to resonate with your target audience. So I know a lot of people are concerned about being on camera. It's intimidating. They don't like how they look. They don't like how they sound. Trust me, I have a hard time even watching the proofs of these podcasts that I do, the video ones in particular. But it is worthwhile because more than ever, genuine, concise videos featuring your therapist or practice leaders or even employees, it could even be the janitor, why they care, why they choose to work there. And they could probably be cleaning rooms anywhere, but why do they do it here? What is significant about your clinic that draws people and helps with employees wanting to stay, wanting to help more people? Videos are a compelling way to share this kind of information and establish trust. It allows potential clients to connect with your therapists and your staff on a more personal level. It means that the first time they walk in the door, maybe they've watched a video of your front desk person and how they greet people and why they greet people. It's not them walking into a stranger to somebody they've never seen. It's someone that they've watched. They've watched their story. There's a potential connection. So these videos that you produce and put online, they can range from anything from introducing your practice, doing a tour of your facility. It can be really talking about your core values to address common mental health concerns. It can be offering self-care advice. There's a variety of different things that you can do. But by creating this content that's both informative and empathetic, you can attract clients who are seeking a practice that prioritizes their well-being. This strategy not only elevates your brand for growth, but also makes your practice more approachable and attractive to a wider audience. Crafting this consistent brand really kind of like weaving a tapestry. Every thread needs to align to form a coherent and compelling pattern. In the realm of behavioral health, where trust and credibility are paramount, a unified brand presence can make all the difference. So, when I say weaving this tapestry together to make something beautiful, that's consistency in the logos that you're using. Don't use an old logo and a new logo if both exist in your company. Make sure you're consistently using the same logo, your colors are consistent, your fonts are consistent. That's all a matter of aesthetics, but it matters in the whole scheme of your brand identity. And it really helps ensure that the clients recognize and trust your services no matter where they might encounter your brand. It could be on social media, it could be on print materials, but you want it to be visually recognizable. It's important to regularly audit your content to maintain that cohesive brand voice and visual style. This process can involve reviewing all of your marketing materials, from blog posts to social media updates, to ensure that they align with your core values and your messaging. Sometimes it's just updating things for a specific campaign or specific target market, but at least annually, I recommend doing a complete audit of all your materials and really making sure that they are still consistent, because it's very easy for things to drift here or there. One person starts using a slightly different version of green, and next thing you know, you've got a completely different green that's showing up in your stuff and you don't even know how it happened. So it's really important to audit it comprehensively, probably once every year to 2 years. But it is very, very important to make sure that you do that. So, another really good tool is using your customer relationship manager or your CRM. These tools can really improve your ability to track brand interaction and maintain consistent communication. What I mean by this is they can help track client engagement across multiple channels. AI can do an amazing job. You plug all of this stuff in and it can scrape the data and give you some really important insights into your customers' behaviors and preferences. Now, again, I will say in the behavioral health, mental health, addiction recovery space, make sure that your AI is only scraping for the most valuable, relevant information. You do not want personal information mixed in. And very, very, very important, none of that personal information needs to make it into your marketing. So, what you're looking for are trends. You're looking for consistency without patient information, without names, without dates, without diagnoses. You're looking for trends. You're not looking to single out any particular patient or type of patient. So be very careful when you are leveraging tools like your CRM or AI that they're only scraping relevant information. So, a recent survey I read said that most consistent brands achieve 28% higher business effects. And this includes across the board in sales, profit, and market share gains compared to competitors who were inconsistent with their brand. So, it's definitely a significant increase when you're really paying attention. Another tool that can be really powerful for consistent branding is doing educational webinars and videos. These can be really powerful tools and they really continue on and reinforce the brand's expertise and consistency. So, YouTube continues to be a really powerful, expanding brand, even within the AI world. So, videos become much more important than they've ever been. So, the purpose of the educational videos, of the webinars, is really to establish your brand as a thought leader in your space. So, you're looking for clients to be able to see your brand as a reliable source of information. They're more likely to choose your service when they need services. And again, we mentioned earlier that a lot of times the people that are actually out there searching our loved ones and family and friends that are looking for help. And so they're looking for education, they're looking for information. So when they're at that stage, your educational videos and your consistency in the branding is really going to help connect with them and meet them where they're at. So, building brand authority is a path that, when walked thoughtfully and with intention, can really transform your mental health practice into that beacon of reliability and expertise. Trust is foundational in this industry. Anybody that's in it understands that. And so, coupling that with the need for a strong brand presence, it's not just about a marketing tactic or strategy anymore. It's really about important it's not just about establishing a strong brand presence or your marketing strategy. It's really about human connection and it's become a vital aspect of patient care. One of the most effective ways to achieve this is through expert led content. So, this is leveraging your therapist's knowledge, their expertise, and sharing it all, sharing what to do when a loved one is having a crisis. If you specialize in PTSD, how to walk somebody, a loved one, through a PTSD moment, how to have a conversation with them about it, how and when to get them help. So, when you're sharing this kind of information, it should be approachable, it should be well researched, it should be evidence based, and it should be free of jargon. Now, sometimes this is one of the hardest things for people to do because when we're experts in an industry, we tend to talk in that industry's jargon. So sometimes you can leverage the help of somebody who's maybe not in your industry to give you feedback on how well you're communicating without just throwing in a bunch of jargon, because your potential client coming in probably isn't familiar with the jargon, or at least not as much as you. Brands also see with a high authority increased referral rates. So again, we're coming back to consistency. It's consistency in the way that you communicate. It's another critical element in building brand authority. So whether it's your website, social media, email newsletters, or in-person interaction, every touch point should reinforce the brand's expertise and reliability. So, what this means is maintaining a consistent tone, a style, and a message that aligns with your brand values and missions. For example, if your brand emphasizes empathy and support, all your communications should reflect these qualities and have consistent languaging around them. That consistent messaging helps clients recognize and remember your brand versus a competitor's brand, which is essential to building long term trust, credibility, and loyalty. It also ensures that your brand is perceived as a reliable and consistent source of mental health support, which can be particularly important in a field where clients are often seeking stability and reassurance, and especially loved ones are. Another technique that's really important to brand consistency and can be a real ace in the hole, if you will, is teaming up with industry leaders that are adjacent to your space. This can really significantly boost your brand's credibility and visibility. So maybe you partner with another mental health professional or a doctor that's adjacent to what you do. That's maybe a really strong referral source, and he can talk about why he refers to you. Another one is organizations or influencers that might be adjacent or part of your industry. These endorsements can be really powerful and they reinforce the brand's expertise. So, this can be co hosting a webinar, it can be a joint research project, it can be a joint podcast. There's a lot of different ways to be able to do this. So, when you're choosing a partnership, it's really important that that person or organization or influencer aligns with your company's values and aspirations, because you're essentially connecting to them. You're endorsing them, they're endorsing you. So you want to make sure that they are going to build up your brand and that they do share values. But by connecting with respected figures in the mental health community, your clinic can expand your reach and earn the trust of followers, thereby potentially expanding your client base. These collaborations can also offer fresh insights and perspectives to enrich your own content, maybe even your services. It can really make your company better. Another thing you can do is workshops that kind of tie into the webinars and the videos. But these can be really effective too. These can really center around helpful mental health habits and actions. This is a good positive tool, emphasizing, things that can do to make a difference, as opposed to focusing on the negativity or the vulnerability of somebody that is maybe in crisis. Um, so they create a space for interaction and engagement. And it really communicates a lot when potential clients or family members, loved ones see that you're willing to invest your time and effort in sharing really valuable information and helping them in their journey. So it demonstrates a commitment to the community as a whole, to their well being. Um, Examples of things you could do stress management techniques, you could do coping techniques for specific mental health conditions, could talk about seasonal affective disorder, PTSD, like I mentioned. There's a wide variety of sources that you can do these webinars, workshops, videos, all of these types of things. Okay, another statistic for you. 87% of consumers say they would purchase from a product because a company advocated for an issue they cared about, such as mental health, which really highlights the power of authentic advocacy. So, if you're a clinic that has a specialty, again, maybe it's PTSD, and veterans are really the target audience that you invest in. So, if you're really passionate about that, use your brand platform, use your company platform to advocate for veterans. So, there's a lot there that you can consider. Now, definitely want to make sure that you're advocating for things that align with your values and your brand. Okay, let's talk a few techniques that enhance brand recall. So, if you're wanting to improve your brand recall, you need a strategic combination of both memorable content and consistent engagement. So, one of the most effective ways to achieve this is through the use of memorable taglines. A well crafted tagline can encapsulate your brand's core message and value. And this makes it easier for patients and potential patients to remember and connect you with your service. For instance, a tagline like empowering minds, transforming lives not only resonates with the emotional needs of an audience, but also reinforces the mission of a mental health practice. Taglines should be concise, meaningful, and reflect your brand's unique identity. They can be prominently displayed on your website, your social media profiles, and marketing materials, and should help reinforce and be consistent. Statistically, we see that brands with strong recall are more likely to be chosen by consumers when making a purchase, as familiarity reduces uncertainty and speeds up that decision making. Again, the familiar is comfortable. The creation of an approachable and engaging visual content is also crucial to your strategy for boosting brand recall. So, when I talk about visual content, I'm talking about infographics on your website, in your articles, videos, and even images are powerful tools for communicating even the most intricate information in a way that is palatable, relatable, and memorable. So, when you're crafting visual content, it's really important to assure that it is in harmony with your brand's identity and purpose. So, what do I mean by that? A really good example is the use of warm, welcoming colors and the portrayal of diverse, supportive environments can render your brand more approachable and unforgettable. Again, consistency across all platforms is key to reinforcing brand recognition. So, if your company is working with teenagers, for example, you're going to have a very different use of images and colors and even languaging, slang, taglines, things like that, than you would if maybe you're connecting with parents who have an autistic child. That's going to be very different than a veteran coming back and struggling with PTSD. So understand your audience and make sure that your visual material connects with that audience. Again, consistency. That's the name of the game in our podcast today. So, on social media, for example, use the same profile picture, bio, and posting style to make sure that it's consistent across all your different channels. Don't use different profile pictures from Twitter to Instagram to Facebook to TikTok, whichever ones you're using. Keep it consistent. You want people to go, oh, yeah, I know that logo. I know that image. That's the one I'm looking for. So that's the intent of why it's important. And your website, it should have a clear, user friendly design that reflects the brand values and makes it easier for visitors to find the information that they need. We have a whole article and podcast on UX UI design, and we'll put a link to that in this article, this podcast today. But it's really important to make sure that your website has a good user experience and people know exactly what you want them to do on your site, whether that's read an article, book an appointment, or take an evaluation. Patient materials such as brochures, newsletters, and appointment reminders, those all need to be branded consistently. Even your office, the colors that you use in your office, the decor in your office, that's all needs to be very consistent. We have a particular client who targets men, and specifically men that are first responders. And so their whole clinic, the decor is all targeted around specifically first responders. And again, many of them are male. So their decor, their colors reflect that. They have pictures throughout their facility of first responders. There's a connection piece when they walk in. They're like, yeah, this, we recognize this. This is us. That's what you want. You don't want a massive disconnect between what's online and then what they see when they show up at your office. It's all part of the same thing. Another really good tool to engage people with your brand and to enhance brand recall is actually engaging with your local community. This can be through events, sponsorships, publications, speaking at conferences. Even if you do it pro bono, this gets your word out there. It gets your company name out there, especially when you're doing local or regional events. It builds trust and credibility because you're engaging with the community, you're showing that you care on a deeper level. So, this could even be publishing articles in your local, maybe even a newspaper or magazines in your local thing, or doing a guest lecture at your local chamber talking about seasonal affective disorders and how to recognize it and what to do about it. I grew up in Alaska. Seasonal affective disorder is a real, very serious thing. And so that is something that's really relevant to the local community. So find those connection pieces and really lean into those. Again, this highlights people first and really is important that you're prioritizing people and really making that human connection. Consumers consistently report that they're more likely to discuss, recommend, and choose brands that they can recall easily, which is a really big, important part of word of mouth marketing, which should always be a component of your overall marketing mix. So, these people can be really powerful in establishing connection in your community. Okay, so let's talk AI. It's kind of hard to have anything today without touching on AI in one form or another. So, how do we use AI to help with brand consistency and authority? AI can be a very invaluable tool in maintaining brand consistency and authority because it streamlines your processes. It can personalize client interactions and marketing material on a deeper level. AI offers a broad suite of tools that can help us as small business owners manage our brand message and make sure that it remains cohesive and resonant across all platforms. One of the key ways that AI achieves this is by monitoring and auditing your online marketing presence. So, whether it's visual content or written copy, AI can swiftly identify inconsistencies and suggest corrections, ensuring that every piece of content aligns with your brand voice and values. This automated insight can be invaluable in maintaining marketing consistency, which, as we've established, is very, very important. Chatbots are another AI driven solution that can significantly enhance your brand's authenticity, authority, and trust. Talk Further is a great option that's used in the mental and behavioral health arenas as well as other health focused arenas, and it provides personalized and immediate interactions. Chatbots can address client inquiries and concerns around the clock, which offers a level of service that would be difficult to achieve with a human team alone. Another really great one is We Level. This one, similar to Talk Further, actually gets trained on your brand voice, trained on FAQs and really takes answering and giving customer service to a whole level. So, when clients have a positive interaction through these automated conversations, they're more likely to view your brand as credible and a trustworthy source of behavioral or mental health services, which again further solidifies your position in the market. Authenticity and transparency are top drivers of brand trust for Gen Z and millennials, with over 60% of people under 60 expecting companies to be transparent about their values. So, AI can help you be transparent about your values by finding ways that or places that you're not and giving recommendations for how to clean that up or shift to that, or giving you personalized recommendations for connecting and communicating those values across multiple platforms. So it becomes this powerful dual tool to analyze your customer data, which can help with refining your branding strategies and grow your business. Make sure that AI is not scraping personal data. Make sure that AI is looking for trends and repeatable patterns, not scraping specific names or diagnoses or specific treatment plans. So it's a major distinction that is absolutely vital in the mental behavioral health world. But by analyzing large volumes of data, AI can identify the trends, like I mentioned, preferences, and even pain points that might have been missed in manual analysis. And again, you're training the AI to spot patterns overall, not specific patients. But this deep understanding of your audience can help you tailor your marketing efforts more effectively. You can even ask AI to analyze the data, give you recommendations, and then tell AI to create that. But it becomes a data driven approach instead of a gut instinctual one that may or may not be on point. But AI can also help monitor brand mentions across your digital sphere and really provide real time alerts and insights if people are talking about your brand, which typically is a good thing. You can go in and leverage those to kind of further your brand reach. But having AI monitoring your brand mentions is really important because it also helps with your brand credibility and trust. It allows you to swiftly respond to negative and positive comments, which both are important to respond to. It also helps you maybe find misinformation that's out there and to be able to address it very quickly. So, when you take a proactive stance to managing your brand's online standing, you can really have a lot more peace of mind that you're maintaining a positive and connective presence online and really putting that people first component. But monitoring client feedback also allows you the opportunity to get invaluable insight. So, this one's a little trickier in the mental and behavioral health area because you can't ask for feedback, or at least you can't ask for reviews and testimonials when people are still your patients. But you can use AI to search the web and see if people are talking about your brand, good or bad, and be able to address those and use that information to improve things. This kind of leads into the automatic and analytics tools, which again are really, really valuable for AI. These tools can track metrics related to your brand consistency and be able to give you a lot of recommendations, and they can do it across a lot broader area than we used to have. So you can also optimize your branded search to drive revenue growth. So optimizing branded search isn't just about boosting your visibility. It's really about converting interest into action and driving growth. So when patients or potential patients are actively searching for your brand, it indicates a high level of interest and trust. By optimizing your SEO and GEO, with branded keywords, messaging, answering actual questions in real life ways, you can enhance your visibility search results. It's not just about keywords anymore. It's really about your overall brand visibility and how well you're answering potential questions. We do have another podcast and article about SEO and GEO and the evolutions of that. We'll also include a link to that as a reference as well. Social media can be a really dynamic and often overlooked place to spread brand awareness and to enhance brand recall. So, this is where you can share valuable insights about your company, techniques, ways that you might help or treat a specialty, why you're in that specialty area, maybe why you help specifically with teens in crisis, maybe teens with eating disorders as opposed to somebody else. There's usually a story as to why that specialty is important to you. So, sharing that information, sharing patient success stories if they've volunteered them, and if you scraped them of all personal information can be important. Educational content is really valuable on social media. Again, you're meeting people where they're at, you're providing consistency and information that is helpful. But this information can lead to more shares, more likes, more comments, which in turn increases your brand's visibility and can lead to more organic traffic. Google Business Profile is also a very powerful tool for bolstering your local search presence and increasing patient confidence. So you need to claim and refine your Google Business Profile listing. You ensure that your practice's vital details like address, contact number, operating hours are very easily accessible for searchers. Also encourages satisfied patients to leave a review. Again, not something that you ask for, but something if they volunteer can be very, very powerful. But again, don't ask a current patient for a review, but give them opportunities to volunteer one if they're so inclined. Other tracking tools that you can use to measure your success are Google Analytics. So you can use it to monitor how many people are doing branded searches, meaning they're searching for your name specifically. And that can really be a good indicator about how well you're doing getting your messaging out there. For example, if you notice a spike in branded searching following a specific social media campaign, you might want to invest more resources in that particular channel or try that campaign on another channel and see if you get similar results there. Similarly, certain keywords are underperforming. You can refine your SEO, GEO efforts to better align with what your audience is searching for. So, this data driven approach really helps ensure that you're branding for growth and not just for vanity's sake. So, to summarize and wrap up for today's episode of the Beacon Way podcast, in the behavioral health industry specifically, but it's similar with many, trust and credibility are everything. So, optimizing your branded search is a strategic investment that does pay off. When you combine SEO and GEO, social media, local search optimization, optimizing your website, and the other tools we talked about today, you can truly create a robust online presence that not only attracts new clients, but really helps retain existing ones. So think of it as a holistic approach to branding for growth, and it is truly a foundation for a successful and sustainable marketing practice. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Beacon Way podcast. And please leave your comments below if there's anything else that you would like us to focus on, or if you've got any examples of what we talked about today and how they've helped you. We would love to hear those. So thank you again, and we look forward to you joining us for the next episode of the Beacon Way podcast.
You have been listening to the Beacon Way podcast. Make sure to join us for new episodes every week. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Beacon Way on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.